Welcome to Your Money, Your Goals, a financial empowerment toolkit. This is a video training designed to not only prepare you to use the toolkit with the people you serve, but also to train others who work with economically vulnerable consumers. This is video 1, which is Getting to Know Your Money, Your Goals, an overview of the CFPB toolkit. As with most trainings, we're starting this one off with an overview of the training purpose, so you have a good sense of the mission of this 3-part video training. What we hope to do is provide you with an orientation to the Your Money, Your Goals toolkit. We want to provide you with an overview of the training for frontline staff. And finally, we want to make sure you know the tools and you also have the knowledge and confidence to provide this training to others. Objectives of a training are those things that you will be able to do or those things that you'll know when you finish the training. By the end of this training, as well as the other 2 videos that are a part of this series, you'll be able to describe the purpose of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which we'll refer to as the CFPB throughout the entire video series. You'll understand the CFPB's purpose in creating your money, your goals. You'll also be able to define financial empowerment and differentiate it from other approaches such as financial capability, financial education, and financial literacy. You'll be able to explain the overall organization and content of Your Money, Your Goals. This is one of the key objectives for this video series. You'll also be able to list and describe your responsibilities as a trainer for Your Money, Your Goals. You'll have a very good understanding of the tools or resources you can access to plan and implement the training for Your Money, Your Goals toolkit. And finally, this will be a main focus of the final video. You'll be able to describe the overall flow of the training, including key activities and methodologies used throughout the training. As already mentioned, this is the first of 3 videos designed to prepare you to facilitate the training of frontline staff or your constituency on Your Money, Your Goals. The first video will give you an overview of the toolkit itself, as well as an introduction to the CFPB and the reasons for the development of this toolkit. The next video will focus on giving you a snapshot of the training, the flow of the training, the methodologies used, and the tools created to help you facilitate the training on the toolkit to make it both effective and engaging. The final video will really go into depth with respect to the flow of the training and cover the specific tools within the toolkit as they're covered within the training. So now we'll begin with an introduction to the CFPB and financial empowerment. The CFPB, or the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, was created to make markets for consumer financial products and services work for all consumers in America, whether they're applying for a mortgage, choosing among credit cards, or using any number of other consumer financial products. Congress established the CFPB through the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act of 2010. Since then, the CFPB has been working to give consumers the information they need to understand the terms of their agreements with financial companies and to make regulations and guidance as clear and streamlined as possible so the providers of consumer financial products and services can follow the rules on their own. The CFPB follows 3 overarching strategies in all the work that it does. The first is empower. The CFPB creates tools, answers common questions, and provides tips that help consumers navigate their financial choices and shop for the deal that works best for them. The second is enforce. The CFPB supervises banks, credit unions, and other financial companies and enforces federal consumer financial laws. They take action against companies and practices that violate the law and have already returned billions of dollars to harmed consumers. The third is educate, because an informed consumer is the first line of defense against harmful practices. The CFPB encourages financial education and capability from childhood through retirement, publishes research, and educates financial companies about their responsibilities. The CFPB has 6 divisions. Your Money, Your Goals was created by the Consumer Education and Engagement Division, and specifically its Office of Financial Empowerment. The Office of Financial Empowerment has a special focus on consumers living with low income and those who are economically vulnerable, who face barriers to accessing affordable financial products and services that meet their needs for credit, payments and transactions, and savings. The term financial empowerment has already been used a lot in this video, and it's in the title of the toolkit itself. So, what is financial empowerment? Well, it's having the ability to use financial management knowledge, skills, and tools to access resources, products, and services to achieve goals. How's that different from financial education? Well, financial education is a strategy which is inclusive of classroom-based training, coaching, counseling, technology-based approaches, and so on, and it leads to financial literacy. Financial empowerment takes financial literacy and adds the ability to use products and services to achieve goals. As consumers gain confidence to use their financial knowledge, skills, and resources, they empower themselves to reach their goals. This toolkit is designed for anyone who works directly with people living with low income or those who are economically vulnerable in a wide range of organizations and on a broad range of issues. Staff may have different titles, but they generally come from nonprofit, community-based, or private sector organizations, or city, county, or tribal governmental organizations, and they are generally responsible for conducting needs assessments, developing action plans, providing resources and referrals needed to implement action plans, monitoring progress, as well as evaluating results. The toolkit was developed because these individuals meet with thousands of people who need high-quality, unbiased financial information and tools to help them better address financial issues, to become financially empowered. They also have the trust of the people they work with on a day-to-day basis. This provides a natural opportunity for integrating financial empowerment. Hopefully that gave you a little bit more context, the reason the CFPB undertook this project and the rationale for targeting frontline staff and volunteers. Now we want to give you an overview of the tools you have for providing this training. First, you have the toolkit. This is what you will ultimately give to your training participants. This is the document that contains all the tools for them to use in their work. You'll also have the Your Money, Your Goals training slides. This is the material that you will use to deliver the training on the toolkit. I will cover this more in depth in the next 2 videos, but know that it is a PowerPoint presentation with all the facilitation instructions embedded in the notes section of the slides. The Your Money, Your Goals implementation guide goes through ideas for integrating financial empowerment into your work and outlines how to prepare for the training. You'll also have resources available through the CFPB website. Almost daily, information and tools are added to this robust website. Prior to the delivery of the training in your community, we would suggest that you spend some time becoming familiar with all the resources available on the website. And finally, you have your experience and expertise. Your Money, Your Goals is a toolkit, not a curriculum. What's the difference? Well, a toolkit has tools in it. It can be used in any order based on the problem trying to be fixed. If you're trying to hang a picture, you may only use a hammer. But if you're trying to build a house, for example, you'll use a hammer, a saw, a screwdriver, and so on. As with any toolkit, you may use only one tool, or you may use many, depending on the magnitude of the issue. A curriculum, in general, is designed to help people develop specific competencies, often with an expectation that all or most of the curriculum will be taught, and that one concept builds on another. The toolkit is designed to help frontline staff match content with specific needs of the individuals they serve on a just-in-time basis. If someone needs to build their credit to qualify for an auto loan, you can go directly to the module on credit without going through the modules on goal setting, on savings, on managing cash flow, and so on that come before it. Not that these topics aren't important, it's just not what the person needs at that time. The goal of the toolkit is to improve outcomes by making it easier to help people empower themselves to achieve their financial goals. The purpose of the toolkit is to bring together information, tools, and skills that can build your own financial empowerment as well as the people you serve. It's designed to be used with many different people within a wide variety of agencies and programs on a whole range of issues. The toolkit opens with an introduction to the CFPB, as we did earlier in this video. Then it is organized into 2 general parts, the introduction and the content modules. The 4-part introduction is for frontline staff and volunteers. This information can help them prepare to use the toolkit. Introduction Part 1 introduces the toolkit with an overview of financial empowerment, how it can impact your work, an explanation of how financial empowerment can improve individual and organizational outcomes, and of course, an overview of the toolkit. It also includes 2 tools. The first is a financial empowerment checklist to help identify the most relevant financial empowerment information and tools to share, and to keep track of what information is shared. The second is the financial empowerment self-assessment that is designed to identify what you know and don't know. Introduction Part 2 focuses on understanding the situation. It contains the My Money Picture tool that may help you figure out a beginning point when you meet with someone. It will help you match each person's goals and financial situation with specific modules and tools. Now, because it can be hard to talk about money, Introduction Part 3 provides strategies for starting the conversation. The top money conversations in Tool 1 cover some of the most important financial issues the people you serve may be facing. Finally, Introduction Part 4 looks at the emotional and cultural influences on financial decision-making. The 9 content modules focus on providing the tools and information to help people develop new capacities to reach their own goals by using financial resources more effectively. In your training, you will introduce the organization of the toolkit using a scavenger hunt. Basically, you'll share this slide with those that you're training, and you'll instruct the participants to try to find where they would go in the toolkit if they were helping someone with a specific financial issue. What if someone you are helping felt overwhelmed by debt, or felt like she couldn't make ends meet, or wanted to buy a car and get the best rate she could for the money she had to borrow? By answering these questions, the training participants will actually have to get into the toolkit and find where those specific issues would be addressed. This is a much more engaging way of introducing people to how the toolkit is organized and will help them remember where things are in the toolkit. Therefore, it's much more effective. The answers to where all of this information can be found are provided in the facilitator instructions in the training PowerPoint slides. In summary, don't treat your money or goals like a curriculum. The goal is not to get through all of the materials in the order they're presented. Instead, identify the right tool for the right situation based on the person's most pressing financial problem. Use conversations or the assessment from Introduction Part 2 to figure out where to start and what parts of the toolkit to use. Training participants may wonder early in the training how they're going to add financial empowerment to their existing workload. They are already so busy. One of the things you're going to want to emphasize in the training is that financial empowerment work is not an add-on service, but rather something you can integrate into the work you're already doing. The reasons for integration include the fact that it builds on established relationships frontline staff and volunteers have with the people they serve. There's also efficiency in addressing many issues in one stop. Financial empowerment or economic issues cut across situations and challenges such as basic needs, housing, healthcare, child rearing, childcare, work, transportation, and so on. Financial empowerment integration may present a more holistic approach to your work. It also provides for reinforcement during natural discussions you already hold. And finally, financial empowerment integration may also result in better outcomes for individuals and programs. So what does it take to integrate financial empowerment? Well, step 1 is to learn the toolkit content. The training you provide will help training participants do this. Secondly, they'll need to work independently to become more comfortable with the topics and tools in the toolkit. Then, using the training you give, as well as the implementation guide, they're going to want to think about ways to introduce financial empowerment into the context of the services they provide. And finally, they may want to capture the outcomes of financial empowerment so that they can demonstrate financial empowerment results to their organization, their board, stakeholders, and funders. I mentioned a tool earlier that can help you get started called the Financial Empowerment Checklist. It's designed to help identify financial empowerment information and tools you can share, as well as keep track of the information shared in those cases where you're meeting with someone over multiple sessions. The checklist is organized by financial empowerment topic or module, with each tool associated with that module following. The questions following each module name can help identify the financial empowerment problem or issue addressed in that module. You can make a big difference in people's lives by introducing them to financial empowerment and providing them with some new information and tools to help them solve specific financial challenges. But some may need more help. help you may not feel comfortable providing because it's technical, beyond what you feel comfortable addressing, or not available within your organization. Because you have the trust of the people you serve, they'll look to you for quality information and referrals on the topic. For example, if someone wanted to file for bankruptcy, where would they go? If they wanted to know how to respond to a creditor's threat to sue, could you reasonably answer that question? Or what if that individual is facing eviction? This is where a high-quality resource and referral network will be essential to work in the community, and one of the key ways that you, as a financial empowerment trainer, will help frontline staff. The implementation guide has a special section on making referrals to help you, the financial empowerment trainer, create a resource and referral network or guide for the frontline staff that you'll be training. There are 2 tools contained within that special module. There is a list of questions to help you ensure that the information is unbiased, and also a fill-in-the-blank template for a resource and referral guide. Financial empowerment is a very big topic, and no one person knows everything. It's very important to emphasize these 2 points with your training participants. The goal is not for them to become experts in every single aspect of financial empowerment. Rather, it's to introduce the topic, maybe solve some problems, and where it's complex, know where to refer to get additional help. So you'll be helping frontline staff and volunteers know their limits and know specifically where to refer with a resource and referral network. You'll want to develop a resource and referral list before training frontline staff and volunteers in your community. An existing general list of community-based resources, for example, one created by a 211 administrator or a local United Way organization, may be a great place to start. However, these lists may not be sufficient for 2 reasons. 1, the information may not be up to date. And secondly, organizations may be listed as providing financial empowerment services, or financial education, coaching, credit counseling, or asset building, but they're only providing that service through partnerships, or they're providing minimal services and therefore do not have a high level of expertise or experience. When it comes to the training, you'll have 3 areas of responsibility. You'll have pre-training responsibilities, which will take up most of your time. You'll have training responsibilities, the things that you will actually do during the training you provide. And then you may have responsibilities following the training, post-training responsibilities. The first pre-training responsibility you're already doing right now. You're viewing this training on Your Money, Your Goals. The next thing you'll want to do is secure a location and invite people to that training so that they can get it on their calendar. Then you'll want to order supplies that you need for the training. In the facilitator notes of the PowerPoint slides, there is a list of all the supplies and equipment that you'll need to conduct the full training. You may, however, be conducting only small sections of the training. In that case, you may not need all these supplies or all of this equipment. You'll need to consult each section of the training that you're doing to see which materials or what supplies or which pieces of equipment you'll actually need. Remember, context drives the supplies and equipment that you'll need. The list is long when you actually do the entire training. And again, this is contained in the facilitator notes section of the PowerPoint slides for the training, and it's part of the facilitator notes for the very first slide in the training. One item I want to make note of is ordering the Your Money, Your Goals toolkits for participants. Go to the CFPB's Your Money, Your Goals webpage and click on the link to order toolkits for the training. It can take up to 4 weeks to receive the toolkits, so this should be done as soon as possible. You're going to want to read all the introduction, parts 1 through 4, and complete the assessments so you're really familiar with them. Then it's time to read through the content modules and use the tools as is practical, so you're very familiar with them. You may also want to review the PowerPoint training slide deck by reading the slides and facilitator notes. It's advisable to then review the training again in tandem with the toolkit and add your own notes to personalize the training. Review the CFPB website so you're familiar with the information and tools on the website itself. And then, if doing a pre- and post-training assessment and evaluation is something you want to do, be sure that you're familiar with these instruments. Finally, you want to prepare visual aids for the training as needed, which again is described for you in the notes section of slide 1 of the PowerPoint training slide deck, and make copies for the training as listed in the supplies list. If you've trained a group of people before, you're probably already familiar with the training responsibilities. The first thing you want to do is set up the training room, of course. And then you want to make sure that you start and end on time. If you do choose to administer a pre- and post-training survey, you're going to want to do those at the appropriate time. The pre-training survey at the beginning of the training, and the post-training survey at the end of the training. Please note that these surveys are optional, and it's your choice as to whether you use them. You'll also want to make sure that you're prepared, that you know the materials and hopefully all the tips that we've provided in terms of the pre-training responsibilities will get you there. Finally, you're going to want to deliver the training using engaging methodologies, and again, we've provided those for you in the facilitation notes. It's better to cover less content using interactive approaches than all the content using presentation or lecture only. If you do choose to administer the pre- and post-training surveys, one of your key post-training responsibilities will be to analyze and summarize the results. Congratulations! You've completed Video 1, Getting to Know Your Money, Your Goals, an overview of the CFPB toolkit. To continue your training, go to Video 2, which is Preparing to Deliver the Training.